Delete it.
What was just on your stupid ass Will? He's always sending me stupid shit.
Better hope you don't pull that up on the stream.
Yeah. Can't believe y'all have had 7 episodes of this already.
Yeah, I know. And we actually have more people watching it, but when we have stuff like this happen.
We're streaming, so.
This is 8 or 7?
8. Alright, see if our sound's fixed. Give people a minute here. Alright. Should be a little better. Not 100% positive, but...
Put the, like, stream impact in thing.
Do what?
That way we're not just on here on the screen waiting on people to join.
The bottom lane one trying to use the momentum of the high lane. Dylan Wilson gets his nose out front. Gregory's not ready to give it up just yet. Now he'll backpedal up.
Late model feature, and it was a good one. Dylan Wilson works his way by the 21 of Monty Cox, and then he holds him off.
I wouldn't want it to end any other way, but that was just awesome side-by-side racing. It's just classic Hickory for you.
I don't want to say anything out of my place here, but you can't expect much from people that run 18-second laps. But, you know, they just stopped right here. I'm not sure what was going on.
On the outside, working both sides of the street, coming through turn 4 to pick up his first ever late model stock car win at Hickory Motor Speedway.
You know, we fought hard and was patient, and luck was on our side tonight. We caught the cautions right. A couple of them got sent to the back, and I put this beast in victory lane, man. I couldn't be more happy for all my guys. And
real quick, where can they hear you talk about this race later on this week?
Tuesday night, 8:30, Windshield Deep podcast on Facebook. We'll be talking all about it, and I'll probably be whining a little bit, but I'll still be promoting the short track racing industry. So tune in, and y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
All right. I think we're back here. Sorry about the sound issues we had.
We're gonna start us over.
Know if everything's better.
Yeah.
It's
audio better.
I tend to cuss out Charter and stuff. I think it could have been an issue there. I'm not 100% positive.
RJ said we're good to go. All right. Well, welcome back to the Windshield Deep podcast. We're gonna try this again. We usually have some sort of technical difficulty about every time we try to do this thing. So. Yeah, so glad you guys are back with us. This is episode 8, like we said. If you heard this part before, I'm sorry. You just have to listen to it again. My name's Landon Huffman, and I am your co-host. Sitting beside me here is my friend and co-host, as usual, Dylan Wilson. And we got a special guest in the studio, our friend and Phil Parsons' son, Stephen Parsons.
Benny Parsons' nephew.
Benny Parsons' nephew.
He likes that better.
Yeah, he'd much rather go by that. So we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. We got Bristol weekend to review, and
damn it, Dexter, you can't say shit. You're really making us nervous when you say
yeah.
Can't hear you. Oh wait, my volume's down.
Can't be messing with us.
We're fighting once again. Sorry, that's my fault. We dived into this head first and had no idea what we was doing. We still don't.
We're getting better.
As we go, so stay with us here. I think we're good now. It was some kind of connection issue, I guess. I don't know. I just restarted everything and it worked.
Yeah, so like we said, welcome back to the voice of grassroots racing. Got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. We're going to jump right into Bristol recap since that's kind of where we ended the the first technical difficulty area.
Yeah, so Bristol was a pretty eventful weekend. We had rain, the 48 hours to Bristol, as you said a minute ago. Bubba Wallace got the lead, which was cool. I know that's a kind of a Twitter story more than anything, but it is cool seeing that he got to lead his first. I didn't realize it, but he's also the first African American to lead laps in the Cup Series since
1960 something.
67, I believe it was. So that's awesome.
It's cool to see Richard Petty up front again.
Yeah, for sure.
43 up front.
Been a while.
Really cool paint scheme. So
can't go wrong with STP colors.
No, they really.
Dude, that car is beautiful.
Even though it's not really the right colors.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it's not STP colors, but it is because they're. Their STP's like burgundy, and
no, we won't.
It's still cool as hell.
You're a purist.
Oh, no, that's kind of my job. But
so
anyway, Landon was at the race, and I was racing at Hickory, so I didn't get to watch much of it. But I did see Ryan Priest win. So let's hear the story on that race. A quick one.
Yeah, I was there spotting for K&N race for Anthony Alfredo, so I got to actually stand on the spotter stand during the Xfinity race for a good while, and it was cool to watch how the race unfolded. A lot of side-by-side racing, still fighting for the bottom groove though. Restarts were interesting. Had a lot of comers, had a lot of goers. Shane Lee ran really well early, so it was cool to see him run good in his debut for RCR in the 3-car. Ran in the top 5 there for probably a good portion of the race, and then had tire trouble at the end. I think he ended up finishing 14th. But Brandon Jones had it won. And a couple of laps to go there, had a caution. I think it was actually Shane Lee that blew that right front there at the end to cause that caution. And Jones come down, took 2 tires. I have no idea why, but he's the only car.
I guess it was one of those situations where
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, they're going to do the opposite. So
everybody took 4. He took 2. So he was a sitting duck there on that last restart, and Priest was just in the right place at the right time. I felt like all the Joe Gibbs cars were class of the field pretty much the whole day. I mean, Chris Bell was really, really good too, and then he ended up getting that wreck. But Priest was there when it mattered, and he led the laps that counted. So cool to see him go back to victory lane. It's a real feel-good story there. I think a lot of us short track guys can
great for short track racing.
Can relate to that for sure. I think he's got a lot of good. He's got more wins in his future too. So, but it was a good race. I was glad to see. I used to be an extreme advocate of the bottom groove only, but here as of late, especially getting to run the truck race there last year, I really wish that the VH1 wasn't there because you can. It's not racy anymore. I mean, it's either move or be moved, and that showed in the Xfinity race. But I really thought the top groove would come in more than it did, but it just didn't. But yeah, it was a fun race to watch. I think the fans enjoyed it. So.
So speaking of Bristol, a cool thing that I thought of was, at Bristol they have an intro song. When you come out, I think it's Cup only, but when you come out, you walk out of the gate, and you have an intro song play, and people's had all sorts of variants. Denny Hamlin Dougie'd one time. I've seen Clint Boyer, I'm sure, plays.
Benedetto dresses up as whoever he's doing for the weekend.
So it's always
Female
something cool.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Landon. If you had to pick an intro song, what would it be?
It's gonna have to be a little bit of. I already thought about this one, and I think me and Dylan may have the same intro song if it were possible, but it's gonna have to be some "Fame" by David Bowie.
You've only been saying this for a year.
I know. I wanted it to be my Cars Tour intro song, and then they said they were going to do it, and then I don't even know if they asked other people, but I sure as heck told them what mine was going to be, and then we didn't have enough time or something. I don't know.
Dude, if you pick Fame, you can't suck. Like, you can't have that song and then suck. Like, the bar is set.
I thought it would have
I'd
been.
definitely throw my beer can at you.
Yeah.
If you
It would have been
did not run
extremely
at least top
fitting
5.
for the throwback because of my nice mustache and everything. It would have just fit.
Fame was more of a kind of a disco-y song, and your mustache was like a borderline 80s porn mustache.
Yeah,
So.
it was. It was good though. I don't know if it didn't channel Rob Huff at all, but wasn't bad. So
What would you pick, Dylan?
That's kind of tough, I guess. Probably some David
adjust me.
Bowie. You want?
isn't there an adjustment on your mic that you did to change that, or Anyway.
Oh, I don't know.
Stand by.
Oh, well. Sorry for messing up your train of thought. So, David Bowie for you, too?
No.
Oh.
Motley Crue. I'd probably play a little Wild Side. Played on the Tim Richmond show and all that. So that Motley Crue or man, I don't know. Something to pump you up.
Lil Wayne?
No. Something like, something that gets the people going.
Mama, let me whisper in your ear.
Yeah, Yin Yang Twins. Something, I don't know. Something like, I'd probably go with some 80s rock.
What about you, Stephen?
Maybe
Dude,
even Enter Sandman. I don't know.
That's a tough one. Part of me wants to do
something Afro, man, definitely.
like Kiss from a Rose, like Seal, something like that.
Yeah. You can't. Seals.
Yeah.
Oh, Seal.
But
That would be good.
That one or like Stir Fry by Migos. Like there's two complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, that is two complete opposites, but
I like.
I don't know. So we would definitely have a full playlist going on.
Wrist whipping.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. What would you guys pick? Anybody in here? What would you guys pick to be your intro song if you raced at Bristol in the Cup Series and you had to pick one song to be your intro song? What would it be? Let us know, and we'll see if anybody had any better ideas than we did.
I'm sure there's better ideas.
Probably. Yeah. Let's see. So move on to some races this weekend, short track races. We only have one sheet here, so we're gonna make use of it.
Share it.
Dylan has. Oh yeah, the biggest event of this weekend. Well, we got two large events, but we have Cars
Turn
Tour.
your mic that way, so like where the condenser's towards Stephen. Like spin it. There you go.
We have Cars Tour at Orange County, and then we have actually I think Super Late Models and Late Model Stock are there for
this
Mid Atlantic
weekend.
Classic. Yeah.
The Denny Hamlin's this Thursday though.
Yeah,
right?
and then Denny Hamlin Showdown at Langley is Thursday. So we got two big events
Yeah,
coming
so
up.
after the break later, we are going to make picks for that. So
Oh,
we'll have to
is there an
pull up
entry list already?
There's a partial one.
I hope so.
think, so
I hate I can't go run that one. That would have been fun.
yeah. Yeah, no
Kyle
kidding.
Busch and
Denny Hamlin, Brett Moffitt,
yep. I saw Moffitt was driving for Hunt
Hunt,
Sellers.
yeah.
Yeah.
and Denny and Kyle are running for Nelson and Marcus Richmond and Timothy and all them.
Yeah.
They'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, that's probably your. I don't foresee Timothy Peters running very bad there.
No.
So
No.
We'll talk about that later.
yeah, we'll get into the picks later, but so that's most of the races this weekend. So, Lennon, you
Arca
have
race at Salem this weekend.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Which
Yeah.
Josh Berry is starting in. So
Making
that's
his
cool.
debut for
Yeah, Josh Berry's getting Chad Bryant, in
Yeah.
Chad Bryant's car. At Salem,
Chad
so
Bryant
that's-
Racing. The 22, I think Big Time's
Oh,
back
yeah.
in that deal. So that'd be pretty
it's a
cool to
good
see
deal
Josh.
For Josh.
We all know he'll run good. So.
Yeah, if anybody's deserving of a good ride, it's him. So
The 70th season opener at the stadium.
Bowman Dre, yeah, the opener
Is
this
that this
week. Yeah,
weekend?
can't forget that.
We need to go run mini stock down there.
Whew. As long as it's somebody else's and I ain't got to fix
Yeah.
it.
Well, I mean, I don't think they fix it from week to week.
Nah, they got some hot rods there.
Dude, my car,
It's a sleeper.
my chassis from Myrtle Beach is literally sitting in a field right now. Part of me wants to just cut the front clip off. Who cares if it's straight? Put it on a jig. Just put a front clip on there and go Bowman Gray.
You know, I have an embarrassing statement or confession. I've never been to Bowman Dre. I've never watched a
Really?
race there. I've never
Oh,
been
man.
there. Never seen the
Dude,
track.
you go to Bowman Gray to see a fight. Sometimes a race breaks
Yeah,
out.
that's what
Yep.
I've
The
been
K&N
told.
cars were always fun.
And I've always
Oh,
watched
yeah.
the TV show and always followed the track.
They're doing another TV show now, aren't they?
Yeah, similar to what the other one was. I'm pretty sure. I don't really know who all was involved in it, but I do remember. Quick story about Bowman Gray. I do remember. I was doing tires there for a K&N deal in 2010, I believe, 2011, somewhere around there. And Alex Bowman was making one of his first K&N starts for Dad's team, and then Matt DiBenedetto was driving for Dad's team. We ended up winning that race, and Bubba Wallace and Brett Moffitt got in a shoving match on the front stretch, and Bubba grabbed Brett's helmet or something like that, like the front of his helmet. That was pretty intense. Now it's cool to see. It's funny because that was a true testament to the K&N series because you had, it was a proven, farm ground for drivers coming up into the sport. I mean, you had Bubba Wallace, you had Kyle Larson, Matt DiBenedetto.
He can get all three of us in a car. So,
Corey, I'm gonna take you.
I would absolutely
I'm
love
taking
that.
you up on that, Corey.
Yeah,
like
holding you to it.
Yeah.
Windshield deep.
We're gonna be in contact.
Wrecking team.
By the way, earlier, I don't know if you read his comment. I think you missed it. He said, "Who's the guy in the back with the afro?" All right, so I forgot to point that out.
That's his. This is his haircut.
Yeah,
this isn't even
slim. This is a slim haircut.
This is a slim version.
I was telling Mama today, I can't. I'm just trying to be like him with the flat top.
High top fade.
Yeah.
Fear the fade. Is that what it is? Yeah. Oh, Bowman Gray. I can't believe I've never been there. I definitely need to check the place out.
We need to all chip in on one car, and we'll just switch every weekend.
I'm down.
But not tell anybody who it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Driver X.
Yeah, exactly. Come in like the Steak with you,
Sponsored
wearing helmet and everything, where you're to the racetrack.
Blacked out,
yeah.
Blacked out visor. I don't know. I believe we might be able to get ourselves in a little bit of trouble.
As long as we can go to Johnny and June's or whatever afterwards with your crew, Corey, I would definitely love to go up there. So wherever you guys go, I don't know. I know that's about the only place I've ever been up there.
Well,
so
wherever Corey and them go, it's gonna be a party. Doesn't matter if it's a Krispy Kreme or it doesn't, or whatever.
Yeah, them guys get after it. I always was envious. So I guess so we talk about your spotting job this weekend. So I guess that's the next thing. We should get into. We're gonna talk a lot more about short track racing later. We want to knock out some of these other subjects real quick. Landon spotted for Anthony Alfredo, Fast Pasta, another friend of ours.
Fast Pasta.
How did that go?
It was going really good, and it didn't end like we wanted it to. Wasn't the result we wanted, but Anthony did a good job throughout the whole race. We had to start in the back because we got in the fence a little bit in qualifying, and we worked all morning to get it put back together, and it was one of those deals at Bristol in qualifying. It was one of those deals in qualifying where the VH1 was just so prominent, and then you have the radial tire, and Anthony got free coming to the green lap, and got up out of the VH1, couldn't get it woed down, and we bounced off the wall a little bit. So we had to put that back together for the race, and then he did a really good job all day throughout the race, and we stayed out of trouble, moved forward, played a little pit strategy, and then we ended up pitting there at the end and put sticker tires on, and we were the first car on fresh tires, and drove all the way to 7th. Then we had a restart there with about 25 to go, and got put 3 wide. Anthony was put in a really bad spot, and and it didn't end well. No, we got crossed up and got into a couple other cars, and then ended up stuffed in the wall. Yeah,
you try to ignore it.
Yeah.
Actually, Landon's mother said, "Dad said, you were at the hotel."
They wouldn't let me in.
Shoot.
They only allowed 5 people in with the team, so me and Anthony got to sleep. But Dad worked.
He's being a driver again.
I was being a spotter.
He's being a driver.
I was being a spotter there.
One of those
just
spotters.
Yeah, it was one of the spotters that just show up race time, don't help unload.
Yeah.
I did help unload and load and all that good stuff though.
With them. Then you have to go down to the hauler and get a radio.
Yeah, I don't own a radio, so I do have to use whatever team's radio that I'm spotting for. But it didn't end well, but that's okay. Anthony learned a lot, I think, and going into Langley next weekend, I think he'll have a good shot. He got to run a late model down there for Hunt Sellers Racing, and ran really well, finished in the top 5. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll have a good shot to go down there and compete for a win. So.
And you're spotting for him there too?
Yeah. As of now, I'm spotting, I guess.
Is that this weekend?
It's next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right.
I was gonna spot Salem this weekend for Zane Smith again, like I did the other week at Nashville, but R. Jizzle is piloting the Windshield Deep Renegade this weekend at Hickory, making his 2018 debut.
We're making our primary sponsor debut this weekend.
Yeah. So I couldn't miss that. I felt like I needed to be there for him, and so my dad's gonna go spot for Zane. So all hail to Hickory.
Yeah. Yep.
The whole brigade.
Speaking of Hickory, I raced this past weekend in the limited late model division. Had a really good car count. There was 21 cars there. We qualified second. We missed the pole by 1,000th of a second. So just barely missed it, like a wind blow away from
Butt crack hair.
Yeah, butt crack hair from missing the pole. Yeah, that's all drive around. It was I've never been a great qualifier throughout my whole career. I've always had that's something I've always had to work on, or not necessarily work on, but just something that I could have performed better at a lot of points that I didn't, and or I could have made up for spots that the car wasn't that bad. I just didn't know how to manipulate the car with full tape and newer tires and all that. But anyway, we worked on our package. I learned a lot about bump stops and all that, which was cool because you can really manipulate a car in qualifying like that. And had a good run, qualified second by 1,000th, which was all drivers, says our producer. And so we started second, and I actually have the video here thanks to Nick and Sherry Stearns from Hickory Motor Speedway. It's just a quick little deal, so I'll show you that way. I don't have to explain and talk everybody's ears off about our weekend. But let's see, let me pull her up here.
Can we commentate while they're watching? Can they hear us?
Yeah, I think so. Leave me 1 second.
Still side by side, two very evenly matched race cars, one using the bottom lane.
So yeah, this is obviously started the race. We started on the outside. I got around Tyler, who's my cousin, the very initial start. Had a really good car on short runs. This is lap traffic mayhem.
Oh
yeah,
my God!
The car on the bottom, she actually had blown a tire and was just getting out of the way, and everybody else just stacked up. And they never threw a caution. I've flat spotted my tires right there, which was no good. And anyway, so let's see. Oh yeah, I got past. I led for 30 laps. I got past. Got really tight in the center. Got past, and caution came out for a green white checkered. So everybody was really enthused on my end. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna kick his ass. Well, he had a good restart. He held me up the track pretty good for a little bit, and I got jacked up there.
It's a green white checkered.
Pulled a crossover here, sailed it in there, and just didn't have the center turn to do it.
Ballsy.
Yeah.
I like where your head's at.
Thank God for Pat Rachels, because he could have probably stuck his nose in there further and moved me out of the way. But he's obviously a really good and clean driver too. So
where's that chrome horn at?
Put a little rear brake to it. You'll be fine.
No, I did. It was full rear braked out. I mean, it was terrible. I had all rear brakes. I didn't turn the rear brakes anymore. Did all I could there. The kid passed me clean. I didn't show that, but he passed me really clean. I chopped him a few times, and he never touched me. So I wasn't gonna do that to him. Plus, he had a good run. Honestly, I gave it all I had. I mean, is that
a Matt and Stephen Light?
Yep, that's a Light racing team. Was it 20 car?
Light development, driver development or something.
Interviews,
like
whatever.
It's pretty
cool. So yeah, it was a productive weekend. We learned a lot. I hate finishing second. Obviously, second sucks. Nobody likes to finish second, but I've learned from you that you just got to keep pushing. You had a year where I think you finished second countless times, but you ended up coming back and winning several more the next year. So
I was the bridesmaid.
Yeah.
I won one time in 2012, and I finished second about 12 times.
So overall, and that kind of brings up a good discussion. I mean, like, I've always been a pretty clean driver. I've never been dirty, I've had to move people when I had to move people, but in that situation, I could have probably drove in there and about missed my corner and took him out. But issue with that is you don't know who you're racing with, for one. If I would have hit him, he spun out, I would have got it sent to the rear too. I mean, so in limiteds, it just, yeah. I mean, you can call me well, I can't really say that, but whatever. I had fun. Cars in one piece. We're still fast. We got 21 more races to win this year, so.
The limited deal is so dependent on tires too. I mean, week to week, next week you might get a set of tires that's really, really good and nobody will touch you, or you might get a crap set and run fourth, and that's all you can do.
Get Dexter to park next to the tire shed, put a set of 5-lap scuffs in there, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the kid did good. I can't remember his name off the Ludwig, I think was his last name. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I had never raced with him before. Said it was like his second time there, so he's a pretty good shoe to come to Hickory like that and do good. So it was good racing with him. I'm looking forward to racing with him more. Hopefully it's a different result next time, being that But
Are
we race each other clean. So I feel
you're
like
still
I can-
running for the Paramount Kia Championship, right?
Yeah. That's the plan. If things change and the wind blows another way one day, we might go somewhere else. But
If you're not familiar, Hickory does a 10 race deal.
Basically, championship of its own.
Yeah, of its own outside of the track championship. So you can just attend the 10 Paramount Kia races and compete for that Paramount Kia Championship. But speaking of championships, what about the championship location? The talk about changing the championship location from Homestead, Miami.
So what he's saying is the race every year, the championship race and cup is always at Homestead.
Well, all
three
divisions,
series is always at Homestead. What if they changed it every year?
I think they should. I think they should change not only the championship location but the All-Star location too.
Mm-hmm.
I think those both need to kind of be a rotating. Because if you look at the NBA, you look at MLB, it's a rotating venue for the All-Star games, and championship as well. I mean, I think you go to Homestead one year, go to Bristol the next year. I mean, have it at Watkins Glen one year. I mean, who cares? It's not like it's not like you're gonna get more people to go to Miami than you are Watkins Glen. I mean, the same amount of people are gonna come to the race.
I don't think you can end at like a road course, but I do think that that's not that it's a great track to race at, but I mean you got Charlotte and Las Vegas with these kind of markets that you could race at, even Texas.
I think it should go back to Atlanta like it used to be.
Yeah,
Atlanta would be a great race.
but
Especially if they continue to let the pavement sit.
But even if the cool thing would be if they went to a damn short track. What if they went to a short track to finish the season off? I mean, how incredible would that be?
Let's go to North Wilkesboro.
Bring back North Wilkesboro.
The only issue I see with that is I don't feel like there's a short track venue that's prestigious enough.
Bristol? You don't think Bristol's prestigious?
No, I mean Bristol is, but it's its own thing. Like you go to the Last Great Coliseum in August for the night race and the fall race for Food City 500. Those are Bristol venues. Those are Bristol weekends. I feel like it's just not.
You like it almost like Atlanta on Labor Day, like it used to be.
Yeah.
Like Darlington on Labor Day.
I feel like it's just a special, like that in itself is it's a prestigious event. But to go somewhere for the championship, I think you've got to go to. I mean, for some reason, I like the championship being at Homestead. I think it could.
It's a good race.
I think it could move.
With tire fall off.
But I feel like
just
I feel like just the racing's always good there, and I don't know, the environment, going to Homestead, like pulling into Homestead. I mean, I've obviously never been able to run for a championship.
Dexter Knipe said Tri-County.
In
That's
the
great idea.
yeah, beautiful idea there.
Yeah. Tri-County would be perfect.
All
definitely
5,000 seats.
Yeah, the Cup cars could definitely run there.
Yeah.
It would be a heck of a show. But
I don't know, man. I mean, I think Homestead's obviously a cool place.
If you're talking,
I
like
think
you
it should
said,
alternate
like
every year.
like Miami, Vegas, Fontana, I mean, places like that are kind of up in that wheelhouse if you're going for more big markets almost.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot to do with it, Los Angeles, Fontana, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you got I don't know. I mean, it's NASCAR's call. I mean, they're probably never going to change it, but
probably not.
It would be really cool if they alternated. I mean, there's no other sport in the world that's championship is at the same place every year.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there is, but I don't know of it. Football, baseball, basketball, every other college sport, everything changes every year.
It'd probably be good for all these other venues too, because
another thing is it brings in fans. I mean, because a fan might not want to go to the Sharpie 500 at Bristol, as weird as that is to say. Some random guy that don't know NASCAR is, but if they hear that it's a championship race and it's live covered on ESPN all day, and then they brought, you know what I mean? Like, they might want to go see that. I don't give a damn about watching basketball all year until Game 7 of the finals.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't. So it's kind of the same deal with racing, and I think going to different markets would be cool for that. Yeah, but that's my take. They'll probably never do it. But
I agree with you. I think the same thing with the All-Star race, like you were saying. I mean, right now NASCAR's going through a weird transitional phase with the All-Star race. They keep trying all these new things, and now we have the Roval coming in the fall at Charlotte. So we're trying a lot of different things. We're barely stepping out of our comfort zone just a little bit and kind of testing the waters. And I feel like, as a whole, our fan base, our community, we should accept the fact that NASCAR is trying to change some things up, because otherwise it's going to be the same thing over and over and over. So if we, criticize the fact that they're trying different things, then they're never going to try anything new.
Right.
So I think we have to accept the change, be an advocate of it, and I think the All-Star race could alter
And I like
locations.
that they're trying. They're putting effort. They're listening to the fans. If you watch the Indy race, the Xfinity race last year, where they had the that package
restrictor plates
with the air ducts and the restrictor plates, it was a good race.
Yeah,
it really was a good race. But I don't know. I've always been an advocate of more horsepower and less downforce. That's always kind of how it used to be. And you can call me a purist and a traditionalist all you want, but I think the All-Star race is going to be a good race, but I would like to see it go in the other direction.
You got to look at
that'll tell is the actual race. So you have to see how it is.
Yeah, but you got to look at racing too, though. I mean, back in the day, they didn't have any downforce, but they also had 600 horsepower in a Cup car.
Well, and 3 cars finishing the lead lap. Second place was 2 laps down.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about last show, though, the Truck Series is the best racing right now, especially at the 1.5 miles.
By the way, they listen to us. Yeah, they listen to our downforce package and all.
Yeah,
that.
I genuinely think the best racing for the Cup Series was 2002, 2003 to 2006. I think that was the best era of race. Like right before the COT with the twisted sister bodies, when people were figuring out coil binding and bump stops, I think that was the best era of racing for NASCAR. But I mean, wasn't a ton of downforce. You had a ride height rule. I mean, if you look at an old race at Charlotte, I mean, you could literally see, just the suspension travel. That's kind of what I like. I like not necessarily slam to the earth the whole way around the racetrack. Make it go back to conventional.
Oh yeah,
it was a lot more mechanical then too.
Yeah,
so many different options.
But they could have done anything back then, and it wouldn't have mattered. The fans would have loved it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because NASCAR was still booming. That was before we hit that.
I think the COT is what did NASCAR in.
Well, I mean, they had to try something different. We were hitting that was when we hit the economic crisis, and there's a lot of stuff that had played into the downfall of, or what preceded in the following years. I feel like we've done what we can to pick ourselves up out of that hole, and now it's just a matter of continuing on that path. So,
yeah. Well, we have it's 9:15. So obviously we started a little late, so we're a little behind schedule, but we have a very, very, very special new addition to the podcast.
You just want to play it now?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Right.
We're gonna play this this new segment that we call Hot Laps. Okay, we haven't made, this was totally last minute. We haven't made any kind of logos or intros for it or nothing.
It's a little raw.
But it's a little raw.
It's gonna be it's gonna be better every week.
Let us know what you think.
If you like
tuned.
if you like it, we might continue.
If you don't like it, then we don't still do it either, because it's fun. So
check it out.
Anyway, here is Hot Laps with Landon Huffman and Dylan Wilson. I almost said it.
Hot Laps presented by the WD crew.
Yep. All right. They can still hear us here, so don't laugh too hard.
Okay.
Here we go. Now, what's about to happen here is we're going to show you how to drive around Hickory Motor Speedway.
What's up, guys? I'm Landon Huffman, and I'm going to take you for a few laps around Hickory Motor Speedway, birthplace of NASCAR stars in my NASCAR Dodge Weekly Series Chevrolet. So let's just, we're going to go ahead and get off pit road here. Got a hell of a gearbox in this thing. It's a Johnson's transmission. One of the best. All right, you're going to get a nice wide arc in 3 right here. You're going to come down to the apron, get you a nice straight run, come into the green flag here. We're going to have a green flag. All right, you're going to float that thing down to the bottom right here, a little loose. There's going to be a bump right here, hard in the throttle right here, all the way off of turn 2 to the backstretch wall. Nice curve. Oh, we got in the fence a little bit. Arc that thing down into 3. You're going to hug it right around the apron here. Going to be hard in the throttle, all the way to the flag stand. We're going to do it one more time. There's going to be a bump right here down to the concrete. You're going to hit that patch. You're going to hug the apron all the way around turn 2 down to the backstretch. Look at that, beautiful. Float that thing off into 3, hard down to the bottom. Nice on the bottom. Look at that, beautiful rotation all the way to the flag stand. One more time. Nice down to the bottom. Now the key here is to be right against the apron. That's where you're going to make up all your time. All your time right here at Hickory on the apron off of 2.
See that? See, I floated that thing out and got a nice rotation down to the bottom, straight to the flag stand. We're going to run the top now. This is what happens when you're racing with Josh Berry. When he catches you, you're about right here. He's going to run underneath you. He's going to be running underneath you, and you're going to run the top side just like this. And then when he gets to where he can't get by you, he's obviously better than you because he's better than everybody here.
I'd say he'd have cleared you the first time he got near you.
Yeah, well, he's better than everybody, so we're going to run the top. He's going to get into us a little bit. He's probably going to end up getting by, so we're going to fall in blind behind him.
Go ahead and wave him by. There you go, just like that.
Hickory's a really physically demanding racetrack. It's not one for the faint of heart. You got to really wheel these things. You got to lean sometimes. You know, back in the day when Dodge was working the weekly series, you had to lean with the race cars. Didn't have no spotters either, so you just lean down to the bottom and see. When you leaned, you could actually see. You had a better view, so you could see what was coming up beside you. And when somebody was up beside you, they usually got your left rear, let you know. All right, we're going to come to the checkers right here. It's going to be a good race run for us. We're going to get some good tire data. Seth's going to see what our tire stuff looked like here, and you know, I believe that was a pretty good run for like a limited late model race. You know, a 35 lap feature. That's about what your average run is, about 8 laps in a limited late model race. So, you know, I hope you learned something today. That was Hot Laps on Windshield Deep with Landon Huffman at Hickory Motor Speedway. I'm going to pull in here, get some tire data, and I'll see you guys next time.
All right, everybody. I'm Dylan Wilson. I'm going to take you for a few laps here at Wake County Speedway. We are currently under some construction here with the new Hot Laps segment here at Windshield Deep Podcast. But today we're at Wake County. Sadly, it got rained out, so I wanted to fill everybody's void today with my late model stock car here at Wake County, which I got to ride a few times. So you get on the throttle here, real small track. Really got to get her down on the bottom here. It's a really tough track, really tight. You see it's a D-shaped oval. We get in the corner here. You got to get her pinned down. You don't want to turn too early like that now. If you turn a little too early and knock the brakes up, you can hit that inside wall. We got some toe damage here. But you really got to keep her pinned inside. The thing is, the key to this track is you got to be close to the inside wall, which we can't do right now. So I knock the toe out. You want to come off low, of course, just like every other track. Pin her down in here. Really got to turn the wheel. Got to just fully turn the wheel. You really feel the horsepower. You don't take much horsepower here because it's worn out track, but you really feel it. Not here, this is a short straightaway. But when you come off the damn floor here, coming to a green-white checker, some bitch just absolutely puts you to the back of the seat. And then you damn get on the brakes. Pin her back down on the bottom. And that, pretty much, folks, in a nutshell, is how to get around Wake County Speedway in under 10 seconds. How the hell anybody ever got in a race car like that is beyond me. And that, in a nutshell, folks, is how you get in a race car. Put that thing up. Perfect.
No cameras. No cameras.
Ugh. Good Lord.
That was impressive.
Well, here's the deal. If you don't have fun, then why are you even doing it? You know what I mean? We've clearly had some fun with that segment. So.
Should have rehearsed.
Yeah, we didn't really put much effort into it.
I found
that was
out.
the raw feed, though.
It was raw. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, that was true. That was everything you need.
Yes, Casey, we desperately need some help with a sim setup.
We're going to continue doing hot laps.
We're gonna
need a lot of help.
Yeah. Wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But
anyway, that was a So if you enjoyed that segment, be sure to let us know. If not, then we're still going to do it anyway.
I did find out that Robert was a lot smaller than I was at this age, because I almost broke that suit numerous times. So we might have to do a goodies dash.
Yeah, there's all kind of cool ads on there, so that's definitely neat. It's something we can play with very soon.
I think we should take a quick break so I can go use the bathroom, and then we'll be back to do our stuff. So
yeah, need a good one.
Go through here and
get our stuff straightened out. I guess everything's still working right. Nobody's told us we're screwing up again yet. So
well,
he said he was faster too.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll be right back.
Hold on. Let's take a second here. Right here before we go to break. We'll just take a second to thank all of our sponsors here, people that help us make this happen. Fox Outdoor, Carolina Simworks. Casey, he's in here. So definitely hit up Carolina Simworks if you're looking for a sim cockpit. We gotta get with him so we can get one for us. Put together here in the studio.
Probably kind of embarrassing for him.
Yeah, sponsoring the show, and that was what we used as our cockpit. But everything's still under construction here. But thank you, Carolina Simworks, Heavenly Suites, Blondie's Restaurant, One Designs Wraps, PRW Chassis, and all of you guys for tuning in and watching. So we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back to wrap up the show and do the Q&A.
Yeah, we got all the picks for Cars Tour coming up too, so we can't forget, and the
Denny Hamlin race.
We got a new segment too called Time Machine Race of the Week. We'll explain that later, and also talking about the limited late model car counts around the country, southeast. So we'll be right back. So stay tuned.
In the bottom lane, one trying to use the momentum of the high lane. Dylan Wilson gets his nose out front. Gregory's not ready to give it up just yet. Now he'll backpedal up.
Late model feature, and it was a good one. Dylan Wilson works his way by the 21 of Monty Cox, and then he holds him off.
I wouldn't want it to end any other way, but that was just awesome side-by-side racing. It's just classic Hickory for you.
I don't want to say anything out of my place here, but you can't expect much from people that run 18-second laps. But they just stopped right here. I'm not sure what was going on.
And on the outside, working both sides of the street, coming through turn 4 to pick up his first ever late model stock car win at Hickory Motor Speedway.
We fought hard and was patient, and luck was on our side tonight. We caught the cautions right. A couple of them got sent to the back, and I put this beast in victory lane, man. I couldn't be more happy for all my guys. And
real quick, where can they hear you talk about this race later on this week?
Tuesday night, 8:30, Windshield Deep podcast on Facebook. We'll be talking all about it, and I'll probably be whining a little bit, but I'll still be promoting the short track racing industry. So tune in, and y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Alrighty,
Turn the
we're
volume
back.
down.
Landon, I believe, has finally got to use the bathroom. He's always,
Every week.
I've got
So we have got a cool new little deal we wanted to start doing. Like I said, it's all kind of fresh. We're just trying new things that people might like. So the first thing that I kind of thought of was Time Machine Race of the Week. Basically, I spend my days working on graphics and stuff, and on one monitor, I always turn on an old race.
so basically doing nothing. all
Yeah,
day.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much just sit there, design a graphic, and I turn on a race from 1987 and, get really inspired to go out there and just absolutely send it. But anyway, this week we had our producer chime in, Mr. RJ Reynolds.
Our jizzle.
Mr. RJ, our producer, chimed in on our stuff this week, and he's been over there researching what would be, because he's an advocate for picking old races and watching old videos and stuff like that. So this week
RJ is our historian also.
it is the Nashville Bush Race from 1995.
Clear.
We got the link. We're going to post it. We'll post it not on this Facebook comment, but actually on our page. That way y'all can actually click the link. Unless you can, I don't know, can you post it? I guess you can probably post the... Anyway, it's a YouTube video. Yeah, it's a YouTube video. So you can watch this race from start to finish. Maybe I'm sure they kind of group it up into segments, or maybe it's in different parts, whatever. But we have some stats from that race. And we're not going to tell them who won, because we want to, keep it that
Yeah,
way.
don't watch
ruin
it.
the ending.
Yeah, don't ruin the ending. But let's. I'm gonna go over a couple of things that did happen. Daryl Waltrip started on the pole for Terry Labonte, which did he sub for him?
Drove for
Oh,
Terry.
drove for him. Only win for this person, but we're not gonna say who. Robbie Reiser's best career finish, and your pops finished 11th. How about that?
So, the Bristol race this weekend, how many cars finished on the lead lap? 11. So, Dad finished, old Phil finished 11th, 3 laps down.
Well,
So, you can't win them all. You can't.
no. Especially not then, whenever
Like the
your
thing.
worst
It's a hell of a run.
competitor is
Yeah,
down.
I mean, I like to think luck's there for, funding that whole operation.
We still finished 11th. I mean, it's
Hell of a
not-
run.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you should see. You got Mike Magic Shoe McLaughlin. You got Johnny Benson. You got L.W. Miller in here. Old Dennis Setzer, Tracy Leslie, Bobby Daughter, Rodney Combs. I mean, dude, it's a stacked field.
Star-studded.
Yeah.
Nashville.
Joe Bessie, Sterling Marlin. I mean, you can't beat that.
The Music City Motorplex.
I was there. Me and Landon were there, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to watch a good ARCA race.
Yeah.
I've never been there, but my dad's won about 3 or 4 dash races, at least 3 dash
It's
races
a cool
there.
racetrack, man. I'm telling you what, that super race is one of the best super races I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Between
The high
Stuart
side.
Friesen and Casey Roderick. I mean,
Yeah.
it was.
You can run the bottom, you can run the middle, you can make the top work, but it's not great.
It's just a racy racetrack.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's
Pretty worn out asphalt too.
Yeah.
it's good racing and it's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Here, and this is off script, but speaking of old asphalt, what do you guys think? What would happen? For instance, what if they paved Hickory, the whole track? How do you think the racing would change? And what's the? I mean, this is kind of on the spot here, but what is the pros and cons of doing that?
I know Sobo is flat, but if you look at Sobo, they repaved it last year, and it was terrible racing. I mean, there was no passing; it was just fast. And I feel like Hickory. I don't know. I feel like Hickory is an all-around racy racetrack, but I feel like the fact that it's worn out helps it be racy. Like especially if you can make the top work, just because you can pin people on the bottom and they can't get a good drive off. I feel like that kind of goes away when you pave it. So I would not want to pave it, but obviously it's pretty bumpy, especially getting to turn 1 and coming off of turn 4. But I wouldn't pave it.
There's eventually going to be a time where it's going to have to be paved, but
Here's the advantage, though. Every race that I've ever watched, like old races at Hickory, all fresh asphalt, all badass racing because there's freaking 3 grooves. They race all over the track. It's almost like Tri-County. Like,
Are you talking late model races, bush races?
Both.
Yeah.
I've seen late model races, same thing, and it really is what impressed the hell out of me because I've always been that guy like, hell no, don't pave the or don't repave it. We ain't got enough motor to keep up with these guys. Blah blah blah. Well, I'm just saying, I don't know the science behind it, and I've never raced on a freshly paved track. I've never raced on a track older than probably or younger than 30, to be honest with you. But
when did they pave Hickory? It was in the 90s. Yeah.
So,
1993.
yeah, we're that's the youngest racetrack I've ever raced on.
I mean, you'll see track records probably.
Yeah,
if they
for
paved
sure.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be a one groove racetrack. I think you might be able to run.
So you think it will be 100% one groove?
I think so. In this day and age, I think it would be with the speeds that you'll be running
And the setups that
the way we run now, bump stops and everything. I feel like you're going to run right around the bottom. I mean, I just think that.
No, we got a couple Hickory drivers in here. What do y'all think? I mean, should they
Shortest way around
repave
the
it? Should they not repave it? We got, well, look at here. We got Dexter tonight, who's won a track championship.
Pat Rachels.
Ruinder, you won last week at
Yeah,
Hickory.
Zach Bringer
Congrats
won
on
his
that,
first.
by the way.
Drove through the
Dylan
honeysuckles
Hauser,
and
you've raced
won
there
his
several
first.
times, who also won at Anderson this past week. So
Yeah, we got a lot. We got
of
some winners in
this
here.
week, and a big bridesmaid sitting here. So maybe y'all should take my damn seat. Good Lord.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Dylan won. Was it
won
this
at
weekend or was
Anderson,
it last weekend?
Won it Saturday or
This
Friday.
weekend?
Saturday.
Yeah.
I think they raced on Friday nights. I'm not 100% sure.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, a lot of. They had 20 cars too. A lot of cars there. So
It's impressive to see how Hickory's rebounded after last year. Last year had some pretty bad car counts, but everything I've seen this year, it's been. What's the least amount of cars there's been? 15 even for late model stock.
well, yeah, late model stock. There's only been 2 races, but
It'll
yeah.
fall
Still,
off.
Like at this point last year, 2 races in. I mean, you were talking 12, 8.
Yeah, they were struggling,
Yeah.
but I think this is where we wanted to get into. It's a great transition by Mr. Steffen here because we wanted to talk. Dexter said, "Don't pave it."
Thank you, Dexter.
We wanted to talk about why. So at Hickory the other night, there was 21 limiteds, and there was 16 late models.
Yeah.
Are they all late models?
Yeah, right there at it. And I seen a post of like, why in the hell is there more limiteds than late models? I mean, there's never been more limiteds than late models ever. Well, I mean, the simple take is well, my 2 main things that personally I see is, one is there's next to no tire build compared to late models, and 2, you don't have to race against insane competition. You're racing against more local people than you are racing against.
I mean, if you can finish second, then what does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
I mean, you have 300% more wins right now.
Oh wow. Wow.
Hey, short track racing, that's what it's all about. We gotta talk shit. There ain't no point in racing it if you don't talk
Oh
shit.
my goodness.
But anyway, for real though. I mean, what do you think?
I think
tires.
yeah.
I mean, you go to Hickory unless you're like Landon's dad and my dad, you're only allowed to buy once that weekend. Most people go buy 2 or 3 sets.
Set the mock up on, practice on.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's
Usually practice Friday and Saturday.
That's almost, that's $1,500, $2,000 right there to buy 3 sets of tires.
Yeah, and you're racing for $1,250, so
Exactly. Last place pays what, $400, $300?
probably not even that.
Exactly.
Probably like $250 or
So
something.
you got to think your risk versus reward on that.
Yeah,
Whereas,
exactly.
How much did it pay second to finish, or how much did it
Pays
pay
$500 to win limited.
I pay $600, and second I believe is $400.
But I bet you spend about that much going there.
Spend about $350.
Honestly, limited's only $150 to rent tires, and then $50 to get gas and
Sign
Everybody,
You know,
that goes with you is
and then your
volunteers.
entries. I got 4 guys with me on a crew, so roughly I'm spending $300 if I win. I make $300.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, when you're raised, I mean, it's not like we're out there to make money, but it is nice
It just
to.
goes back into racing.
Yeah, it's nice to. Yeah, Brunder won and finished second and still lost $600.
Yeah.
Welcome to late models, Zach.
Yeah, and the thing is that's really there's only a few tracks that ain't like that. And I actually had a really good discussion with Kevin over because he watched the podcast and he was just kind of discussing some things about it, and I hadn't heard some of the things that that they have to go through, and that 90% of the time it's not the promoter's decision, it's the owner's decision, and you can only use what money you can, and it's him having to make a living off of his.
You gotta think you got a budget off of how much it costs to pay emergency services,
100,
and track services, and how much it costs to advertise on a weekly basis. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
Well, that's what we talked about before. It's hard to bring in the cars when the purse is what it is. So, like,
Absolutely.
for Kevin trying to do it the way he's doing it, he cares about the track, so he's doing all he can to help the racetrack. But the issue is
He's also trying not to go broke.
Right.
yeah,
Personally,
that's
because,
the
I mean,
thing.
he's gotta
Like,
eat.
yeah,
he
that's
needs an investor at the end of the day.
right. That's
he
the
needs
thing.
someone to give him money.
You can't expect the track to do well when the promoter's having to try to scrape by to make it work.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. Like South Boston is a perfect example, and we've talked about this before. When I went and raced there, their late model deal was 2 new, 2 scuff.
You know what I also heard? I was told by a good source that their promoter there gets a salary,
Yeah.
so they can put out whatever the hell they
I've
want.
heard that too.
So
Right,
their
that's what-
promoter gets a salary.
Yeah,
so,
because they have people paying.
exactly.
They have investors in the racetrack. That's just what we're talking about. But like when we go race there, there's a reason why they have 30 cars every week.
Yeah.
Corey said $400 was beer. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I've seen you guys have a good time at Tri-County before, so I can only imagine the celebration after the win.
I think part of the deal with the kind of decline of short track racing is that a lot of tracks don't work together anymore. Like especially Orange County and South Boston were owned by the same person back in the day, but they used to have like race Orange County one weekend and race Sobo the next weekend, and it was kind of like
They would alternate
deal.
their schedules accordingly to each other.
But if you go in Virginia, you've got Langley, you've got Sobo, you've got Dominion, all racing the same weekend. And there, if you have one race on that weekend, if you take all those cars to one track, then there's probably 40 cars. But when you try to split them across 3 tracks, that's why you have 12 cars on each racetrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I posted, actually, I got a poster right here on Facebook of the car counts from this past weekend. I asked some of you guys to help me out. The worst one I saw was Brad Newman told me that Caraway had 6 limiteds, 8 modifieds, 4 mini stocks, 3 sportsmans, and 4 or 5 chargers.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's not good.
But see if
they wouldn't all race on the
Hickory's
same
running
weekend?
night. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not going to go if you live in Taylor, North Carolina. You're not going to drive to
That's what I was
Caraway,
getting
you're
at.
gonna drive to Hickory.
And then 18 late models and 12 limiteds at Ace. And I replied to that and said we would have went had there not been they wouldn't if they'd allowed the enforcer. So that's a damper on a lot. I heard that 10 cars or so. I think actually Corey says here in a minute exactly how many cars said that wasn't going to come because they were losing, because they couldn't run that. And then Anderson. Super Trucks had 13 limiteds, which Dylan won. Had 18 at Dominion late models. So yeah, car counts aren't terrible.
No.
But
What I was saying.
Caraway wouldn't be screwed had they not raced on the same night as everybody else.
Oh
like you
yeah,
said.
that's what did him in for sure.
But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was saying until y'all dicks cut me off. I was talking about South Boston and the reason they have so many cars. And short story, so I can get it all out. The reason they have so many cars is because when you go race there in late model, it's 2 new, 2 scuff. So your tire bill is only $500, and you're just to start the race. It's like $400 or $500. It pays $500 just to start. So it cost me about $600, $650 to go race there, including my fuel and everything to get to the track. And just for starting the race, I get $500 back. So it pays for my tire bill just to start the race. To win the race, it pays $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a regular Saturday night show, $4,000, and you're only paying $650 to go race. Granted, you're going and racing against Lee Pulliam, Philip Morris, all those guys every single weekend.
We're spending all of that and more to get there.
Yeah, but I raced 6 times there. I backed it in the fence one week and still made money.
Yeah.
Like, you can't – I mean, it's dumb not to go race those places.
It's awesome, but, I mean, obviously the only reason, like we talked about, the only reason they can do that is because they've got a ton of money and they're – clearly, because if they're paying their promoter and all this stuff, it might be a rumor, but clearly they've got somebody backing them.
Oh, they have an investor or something.
Yeah, and that's another thing that just what you just said, 2 new, 2 scuffs. I mean, what do you think about that at every late model track for normal events, weekly events? Do you think it should be 2 new, 2 scuffs, like at Hickory for an 80-lap race? Should it be 2 new, 2 scuffs instead of 4 stickers?
Yeah, I think it should, but the problem is the track makes money off the tires, so they're not going to go to 2 new, 2 scuff because that hurts the amount of money that they receive. But
Same thing with was it the Fall Brawl? Or was it
Pocono owns Sobo.
Okay,
So that makes a lot of sense.
The Igdalskis, I think it is. But
No idea.
If you look at, like, was it I can't remember if it was the Bobby Isaac or the Fall Brawl that was 300 laps and it was a 6-tire race. It's 250? What was it?
Yeah, it was like 200 laps.
That
or
race
some
did not need to be. You did not need to put tires
shit.
on that
You didn't
race.
need 6 tires. No.
But you got to look at it, and from Kevin's standpoint, he has an income off those tires. So if he does that, and there were however many cars, 20 or so cars, then that helps him in the long run.
Yeah,
yeah, it's hard because everything's a financial decision,
Absolutely.
and you can't. It's hard to grow and bring people in when everything is.
Like we say, we got to have somebody that's.
We need some money.
Yeah, we got to have somebody that's a fan and not really cares about how much money they spend.
Well, even back in the 2000s and 90s when Dodge sponsored the weekly series, that was and in Winston. I mean, that was money pouring into the series, and there was.
Well, Wayland sponsors it too.
But it's not like Winston and Dodge where it's not even close. So you got a big title sponsor at the same time would do just as good. I mean, because if you look at, obviously it cost less to go to the racetrack and you made more money back then, but that's because you had a title sponsor who was putting a lot of money into the series, who cared about the series. Not saying Wheeling doesn't, but
yeah.
Well, nowadays
clearly,
money is.
That makes sense of why Sobo is able to put. I mean, the same family that owns Pocono owns South Boston, so
yeah.
that makes that kind of answers a lot of questions there. Why they're able to pay so much money to everybody, and anyway, that's an interesting fact. R.J. Reynolds was invested in the Winston Weekly Racing Series for 26 years. Towards the end, they were working with a championship fund of $1.4 million.
And I think it's. I mean, obviously, it's not even close to that now. I think if you win the.
How much do you get?
If you win the Wheeling All American Series championship, you
National,
get like $25,000.
National championship, you get $25,000.
Yeah.
The regular track championship's like $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah. Dexter Jr., how much did your dad win whenever he won it in
94, 95, somewhere around there?
I think it was
90s.
Late 90s.
Yeah, back then you had to claim a racetrack.
Yeah.
So it was different. Like the national championship.
Yeah, see, 97.
Okay, so
that's the same. How much did Dexter Sr. win in 97?
I can't wait to hear this number.
He ran at Greenville back then. That was the track he claimed was Greenville.
Somebody told me, I can't remember who it was, but they either won the championship in 03, like the last year that Winston did it, or somewhere.
Jesus Christ, over 100,000.
Yeah, I heard it was close to 150.
And now they get $25,000.
Yeah.
No.
God.
And that was in 1997.
I heard it was like 03. I heard it was 300.
Yeah, late 90s.
Ash said it was 125,000.
Holy hell!
See, now that's ridiculous.
You want more cars? Put $125,000 on the line for national championship.
We go ape shit crazy over a $10,000 purse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
Everybody
I mean
goes
the whole
ballistic.
damn country shows up for $20,000.
Yeah.
And the thing is that at the end of the day, everybody's doing all they can. They only have so much money to work with. I got to watch on my comments. I seen or maybe not my comment on a post I commented on. I got to watch this interaction, and it was with Southern Nationals owner or promoter Diaz, and he was talking about all the stuff he's doing. He's doing a best of the best enforcers race. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
It's only people that comes enforcers. The best enforcer wins. I mean, engine builder gets a trophy. I mean, he's doing a lot of cool stuff. Kevin Piercy, he's doing all he can with the budget he has. And I'm thankful to race there every week. It's a track with a ton of history. I've got to race there my whole career, so I love that. There's places. Anderson's obviously doing some good things.
Carstar's doing a lot.
Obviously, as far as the local small tracks, I mean, they're doing all they can, and it's scary places like what just shut down, Motor Mile shutting down. As big as a facility as nice of a facility as that seemed to be, shutting down is scary. So,
I love racing. Me and Landon both raced at Motor Mile. I love racing at Motor Mile.
Yeah, I've never got a chance to run there.
I wasn't very fond of it because I had a 604 crate motor and I was a sitting duck everywhere.
And they need publicity. They need people. They need idiots as stupid as we are and as little as we know, even though we're fun to talk to. don't care what y'all say. They need people like us. You know what I mean? Like they, even if as little as we can do, people like us and people like, I mean, anybody that tweets and posts and does all sorts of good stuff like that, and posts videos and promotes local short track racing at small tracks and stuff.
That's why I don't understand why some tracks and some promoters are so against Facebook Live in the infield and all that stuff, because they say why. Their theory is, why would somebody come to the racetrack where they can watch it on Facebook Live? And I think I call BS.
Yeah,
it's a completely different experience. If somebody wants to support short track racing, they're gonna go to Hickory on a Saturday night. They're gonna go to Myrtle Beach on Saturday night. You know,
and if they don't, they're gonna watch that video and say, "Man, I could go there and have a good time." And that's the same thing they did at Hickory, which was your call. So you tell them your little story about that.
First of all, Dylan, do you think Stefan watched the podcast last week?
No,
I didn't think so either.
No, I didn't.
we covered that for about 30 minutes.
Not a chance.
Yeah. So
look at that. Before you go, at one time, national championship paid over $200,000.
I can believe it.
Good God. A certain owner spent $423K a few years ago to win $50K.
So, Trevor Townsend, who is the, I guess, MC, if you will, the announcer at
social media stuff. He listens to our podcast.
Yeah, Trevor Townsend at Hickory.
It took him 3 days.
Yeah, Hickory Motor Speedway.
Mr. Hickory.
He does a really good job promoting the place, and he texted me while I was at Bristol and said, you know what? I like what you guys were talking about with the Facebook Live stuff. I'm going to ask everyone to Facebook Live, Hickory Motor Speedway at the start of each race. And so he did ask people to do that on Saturday, which was really cool. And there was a lot of people that were posting videos of the race. And actually, me being in Bristol, obviously I couldn't make it to the race, and I got to watch Dylan's Facebook Live and got to see Bringer make the pass for the lead, so that was pretty cool. So just little things like that, it allows someone like myself to tune in to what's happening at Hickory, which in return helps Hickory Motor Speedway. But also, like we talked about last week and like Stefan just hit on, it's nothing but it's free advertisement.
Free publicity. It's like getting on TV for free.
So I definitely think that that you should, you may not ask people to do that every week, but definitely don't knock it down.
I don't know. I don't remember what track it was that did that.
I don't Pensacola.
No, it wasn't Pensacola. It was somewhere they were racing.
Millbridge is bad about it. I do know that obviously it's a whole different
Well, they're all
area.
sold to Speed 51 and stuff.
Yeah.
So. But it's still, you had a really good point last week, and obviously Trevor used it and it worked. It was cool. I got out of the car afterwards and looked on Facebook, and a bunch of people was tagging me because he was like, tag a driver and blah, blah, blah. So a lot of people that came to watch me, a lot of friends and family and stuff, tagged me and got to see the start of the Facebook live video for them and all that. So it's cool.
Yeah.
And, whoever got picked won free tickets to the race. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
I think people got to keep doing that kind of thing.
Cool Trevor did that. I think he'll do something neat like that every single week to try to engage with the fans. But another cool story that just surfaced here this week, NASCAR Hall of Fame nominee Herschel McGriff is going to be the oldest driver to make a start in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West Series. He is 90 years old, and he is going to make a start at, I believe, Tucson for Tucson. Yeah, sorry, Tucson. I've done that before.
Tucson?
Yeah, I've said it before on this show. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I've done it on this show. Okay, Tucson. Sorry. But he's gonna make a start at Tucson. Yeah, for Bill McAnally, and that's gonna be really, really cool. I think his son, Herschel Jr., I believe is his name. He wanted to talk to McNally, and McNally wanted to give Big Herschel a 90th birthday present.
That's
so
cool.
So that was his present. He gets to go out, and he's like one of the winningest drivers in K&N West history, and so that's gonna be. That's going to be really, really cool to see that. So, yeah, everyone can chime in and make fun of my
Tucson.
Of my
Claremont,
North Carolina
Tucson
grammar.
Motor Speedway.
I've definitely never been anywhere near there. So
y'all remember? It was an older guy. We were in the West Series for forever. I think Jack Griffin was his name. You know what I'm talking about? He passed away recently, but he was running the West Series. 2 years ago.
I don't think he's 90 years old.
He was old.
Well, this is I
What
read the
about
article
James
I read.
Hilton? Don't forget about the man James Hilton.
Yeah, he
the guy
don't
was
race
80
anymore.
running Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, the 48, Brad Smith. I mean, they make it to the racetrack every weekend. You know, Wayne Peterson.
Morgan's getting up there. Morgan Shepherd is getting up there.
Thousands NASCAR top 3 or Premier Series start. Thousands.
Yeah, I hated it for him at Bristol. He dang stuck her in the wall in qualifying. Shep.
Did he?
Yeah, he stuffed her.
No.
He stuffed her.
Was he rollerblading?
He was
through
trying
the
to.
pits?
Oh yeah, he was. He was trying to make the show, man, and just ate it a little too hard. Just sent it just a little too much.
It, man. He's doing all he can.
He was. I can't. I know he's had some extra help this year on his Xfinity program, and he actually was not bad at a couple of the races this year. He competed and out-qualified like 4, 5, 6
Yeah, by no means
guys.
is he the slowest car there.
No.
Absolutely not.
No, but I hated it for him. Them boys, after he stuffed her in the wall in qualifying, he just pulled her back down, stopped, and they just had a gooseneck trailer there, and they just chilled, sat out front, had a few drinks, had to holler while the race was going on.
Load her up, boys. We're in it.
I know you were there at Nashville when Wayne Peterson crashed in qualifying, got out with his hiking boots, and just said, happens.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Wayne was probably running on like.
He was running. The best part to me was that he was wearing hiking boots. Like that was the best part to me.
Stuffed her in the fence with inside wall at Nashville. Get out wearing hiking boots.
Like that's not a joke. That's not an exaggeration. He was 100% wearing hiking boots.
I think the best thing I've ever seen in the history of short track racing with my own eyes was one time, and if Aaron Lambert's still in here, I know he's got to get up at 2 a.m., but if he's still in here, he'll remember this. We was at Caraway one time. First time I ever been there. I raced Wake County the night before. I was on this binge of racing. I just won Hickory, so I'm like, screw Hickory. I'm going to go race everywhere. So I went and raced at Wake. Then I went and raced it the night before. Then we went and raced at Caraway. And we was sitting in pit row, just chilling. Just got done practicing. Probably about 4th out of 6 cars. And the next thing I know, they had the 4-bangers, which there was a ton of them there. Well, this dude comes off 4. Old boy's just getting it. Well, he had the full overcorrection and just hits the outside wall. Oh, yeah. Oh, and then started getting a little top heavy, hits the inside wall. Freaking barrel rolls like 4 times. Like, and his damn hands are flying out. I'm like, oh, this guy's dead. No chance. Next thing I know, it lands on his side. He is. I don't think he had his belts on. He got out of the car.
Old bucket seat, no headrest, nothing. I'm sure.
Yeah, got out of the car and ran away. Just ran all the way. Just ran away.
I wonder if we can find video of that.
Took his helmet off, threw it, ran away.
This.
And me and Lambo's like,
wow.
You can't make that up,
dude.
Oh my god.
And the best thing was, look, he was in the black, the fire suit.
G-Force fire suit.
Yeah, with the tight bottoms, like the elastic bottom fire suit with New Balances on.
No.
Yep. And open face helmet. I'll respect to him, but damn, good lord,
I'd say it was a while.
That was insane. That was crazy.
It was probably a good bit before he ever made it back to the racetrack. If he's made it back to the racetrack.
I think he
don't
told
know.
her. I think that 1987 Toyota Corolla
I was gonna say.
beat
He's
all
like
that.
Forrest Gump. He said, "Where were you going?" I was just running.
I'll be honest with you. If I stuffed a Mazda
I'm
626
pretty
head
tired
on
now.
an inside wall at Hickory, I believe I'd retire too, because that'd be scary as all get out. I don't know how I'd handle that.
Those things aren't very structurally sound.
No,
I don't think.
I seen our buddy Casey Pierce. I don't know if the throttle hung or something, but remember that little hobby stock he used to have?
I remember it, but I wasn't there in 2012.
Oh, it wasn't Casey. It was his uncle stuffed
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
I mean, it was huge.
Yeah, I
And
remember
poor Casey lost
it's
his
still
whole
sitting
car and
outside
everything.
of Casey's shop, Blue Ridge Tire, and it is
Munched.
freaking
Yeah.
firewall deep.
Yeah.
Windshield deep.
No, we're gonna stick with windshield deep, but that damn thing was firewall deep.
Yeah, that was huge.
Herschel McGriff drove a race in Mexico, won, and drove to Darlington in the same car and ran the first ever Southern 500.
How about
That's the
that?
most amazing thing I've ever heard.
When was that? 1923.
Yeah, 1910.
Good.
Before-
nick.
Titanic was
before
also
NASCAR ever
afloat
happened.
during that time.
He was there before NASCAR ever happened. I mean, he was ready for it.
Well, just think, what? He's 92, right?
90.
So what's
90?
this
This is
is
90's
what,
birthday.
2018?
Mm-hmm.
Quick mass. 1928. Thank you, RJ.
And our producer's finally worth a shit.
Yeah.
That's the first time he's gave us any answers tonight. But yeah, that's crazy, man. All respect to that guy.
Well,
I feel like if my grandpa's watching it, I'm going to give him a wild hair, and he's going to take Tyler's late model.
old
from
Dean's
him.
going to be at Hickory here
Old
before
Dean
long.
Combs is about to tell me to get the hell.
Moonshine in
if
hand.
old Dean Combs was driving the 7 the other night, I wouldn't have damn passed his ass on the outside. I can guarantee you that. I'd have been in the billboards. But
Well, this is something that we haven't got to yet, but I think we could touch on it a little bit now. Stephen, what are your plans for this year?
yeah.
Gonna try and do some ARCA stuff. I've been working with Chad Bryant Racing a little bit, going on the racetrack with them, just helping out whatever I can. But there's a couple sponsorship deals that I've been working on for the past few months that, fingers crossed, hopefully come through. Especially when you're in a position like, well, all of us really. You're me and Landon were actually talking about this earlier today. You're kind of at the mercy of others, so hopefully it all works out. But it's been really kind of an eye opener working with Chad and his whole team, seeing how things are done on the ARCA side, even from we're helping or doing a lot of my own stuff on late models last year. Just the level of competition and the level of technology. I mean, it's unreal to see how the whole ARCA team functions firsthand, and it's really cool. It really gives you an appreciation for everything.
100%, yeah.
But hopefully, want to run. I don't have a late model anymore. I got destroyed at Myrtle Beach last year along with my foot. But hopefully, run 3 or 4 late model races this year. Bigger races. I would like to run Hickory. I like to run Orange County Cars Tour races.
I've got one for rent. $5,000 a race.
That's out of my price range.
I was just going off everybody else's prices.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. It just I'm doing whatever I can to get back in the seat as soon as I can.
I like to give Stephen hell because he got to watch my back bumper cross the start-finish line at Hickory last year, and then got to watch me do a little donut and go down.
If you would have seen how loose that car was, I don't think I turned to the left any time in those last 10 laps.
I'm going to chime in on this one because I was there watching firsthand. I think I raced limiteds, or maybe I was a spectator that night, but he needed 5 more laps.
I was coming.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm telling you, I was coming.
This guy was driving the
Charlie
absolute
Watson,
balls off of it.
Charlie Watson got into me going into turn 1, and Ty Gibbs got into you coming off of turn 4, and I had to pass Charlie. Ty was already taken care of, thankfully. But, dude, if I had 5 more laps.
Yeah, let me tell you something too, Stephen. If a frog had wings, it wouldn't bump its ass every time it jumped, also.
How long have you been waiting to say that one?
I've been waiting for a while, but no, it was cool. We got to run first and second, and that was about the time that me and Stephen, if you guys do not know, Stephen attends UNC Charlotte, as I do, and that was kind of around the time that me and Stephen first started hanging out. And
it was actually first time we were hung out was the Charlotte Xfinity race and the truck race. And me and you were going to go to Bristol to watch the U.S. Short Track Nationals.
We didn't make it.
No, we came here, and we did not make it.
No.
For
various reasons.
We're going to blame it on weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For various reasons,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we've known Stefan now for
almost a year.
about a year. Yeah, it's been about a year.
long.
I mean,
Man,
I
that's
thought
crazy.
the guy, when I first met him, I thought he was like older. I mean, I thought he was my age at least.
Yeah, 19.
He's
Stefan's
19.
a-
This
Stefan's
guy's
a
still
child,
young. He's
man.
still got a chance to do something.
we're old as dirt. Yeah.
I feel like I got
Don't
4
fall into the same
4
path
or
we
5 more
have.
years
Yeah.
before I, finally got to get a real job. But no,
Yeah.
it was cool that
I'm
night.
about 1 year away.
Yeah, it was cool that night finishing. Obviously, nobody wants to finish second. I hate finishing second, but if I had to finish second to anybody, I'm glad it was Landon. And then, but yeah, it was a time. She was, as Dylan said, she was a little free.
I tried to get on to you because you should have came back and raced at Hickory, and I tried to tell you not to go to the beach, and then you come back with a broke foot. So
There were more variables at play there than
I
you
got
think there were.
I got to throw, and I told you so there too.
Yeah, as I'm hobbling around in
Yeah.
my walking boots.
Stephen, what happened? Wow, we crashed. Told you so, man.
Yeah,
Should have went to Hickory. You could have raced against probably 15 cars at that time, and you went to Myrtle Beach.
I
But
will say, I'm not trying to brag, but dude, I came from last to 15th twice in that race before circumstances beyond my control kind of.
How
They
did you
usually
break your foot? I'm sure everybody wants to know how the actual foot was broken.
Didn't you
and
get
what
right hooked?
part failed or
No,
what happened.
I was going to the outside of somebody. I was outside of them, and somebody peeked their nose under that car, and they kind of jerked right, caught my left front, and I got airborne somehow. God knows how, but I never hit the ground before I hit the wall.
Oh,
Yeah, so I just let go of the steering wheel. I was like, well, this isn't gonna do any good. I can turn left if I want, but my foot was obviously on the brake pedal as hard as it could be, and it came off somehow, some way. I do know that, so I don't know if I dislocated and broke my big toe for people who don't know, but I don't know if it, kind of when I hit the wall it slipped off the brake or if it kind of hit it parallel. But all I know is
that broke your foot.
I wish we had a picture of the X-ray because it was pretty
I have it
hellacious.
here. All I know is I put my foot back on the brake. Obviously, I didn't want to roll back down the racetrack, and I said, "Oh, I was like, something's not right here."
Yeah.
And got out. My shoe was like that. I was like, "Well, it's like this isn't gonna end well." Had a lovely trip to the Grand Strand Medical Center.
I bet you was probably the only one with the actual injury there. Most people at the Myrtle Beach hospitals just getting their stomach pumped.
Well, you know what the bad part about it, that was may he rest in peace. That was the week after Jackie Ward died at the limited race.
Yeah, man, that was a terrible deal. I remember getting the news of that. That was awful.
But I come in there, and fire suit and all, like, oh yeah, we had a race car driver in here last week. He didn't make it though. I was like,
that's terrible.
Cool. But
clearly they don't know a damn thing about respect or racing.
No.
So.
But hold on, let me pull up that X-ray real quick.
But
while Stefan's pulling up the
X-ray, we need to do our picks real quick.
Go.
We've been wanting to. The hell happened? Goodness! Here, I'll try to help people out here. Let me pull up. This is supposed to be a foot.
Yeah, there's a foot in there somewhere.
Oh my god!
I'm not. Oh my god! It's a little crooked.
I'm not even gonna show you pictures of the race car because that's probably even worse. But
that wrap was good for 1 week.
Hey man, it looked good.
It did. It was a cool looking car.
On it.
It was a good looking car. Well, we need to do our picks for the Cars Tour and Denny Hamlin race real quick. We do this every time there's a big show coming on, especially Cars Tour. You have an entry list.
I have an entry list for the Cars Tour, and then he has an entry list for
That's Cars Tour.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a Denny Hamlin entry list?
Try to find the Hamlin
I don't think
entry
there
list.
is a Denny Hamlin entry list. I'll look.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and make my pick for Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch.
I'm gonna make my pick CE Falk.
By the way, we've got a point system going on here.
Yeah, I'm losing. Yeah, I think Kyle's going to win the Denny race, but while Dylan's writing this out, I'm going to run through. This is the late model stock portion of the entry list here for Cars Tour at Orange County. Mid-Atlantic Classic is what they're calling it. And just running through them here, we have Bruce Anderson, Bradley McCaskill, Terry Deese, Craig Moore, Cody Haskins, Chris Denny, Brandon Pierce, Lee Pulliam, Sam Meyer, Charlie Watson, R.D. Smith, Ty Gibbs, Grayson Cullither, Bobby McCarty, Craig Stallard, Carson Quapple, Justin Johnson, Ronald Hill, Trevor Ward, Deke McCaskill, and old Scott Riggs is coming out of retirement to pilot the Bahama, North Carolina
for his injured
99 Perrier
Lane broke his
Romeo Guest construction car.
Collarbone?
So Lane broke his collarbone, which we talked about last week on the show.
So he still can't return. Wow.
He's out for like 5 weeks.
Let's not forget about the super entry list. It's pretty stacked field. We got Anthony Cataldi, Danny Gilchrist, Brandon Setzer, Tate Fogelman, Jared Fryer, Roy Hayes, Molly Holmuth, Lucas Jones, Mike Speeney, Bubba Pollard, Preston Peltier, Dan Speeney, Jeff Batten, Raphael Lassard, Stephen Nassy, Matt Craig, Tyler Ankrum, Steve Wallace. So there's your entertainment portion of the night. Ryan Moore, Corey Heim, Wyatt Alexander, and Jody Meismer. I think Bubba's going to be pretty tough to beat in the super race.
Yeah.
Since Stefan's the guest, we'll let Stefan choose
Stefan,
first.
Pick your super late model winner and your super late model dark horse.
I think Bubba. I feel like it's hard to bet against Bubba, but he's had so many mechanical problems lately. He broke it the Easter Bunny. He broke it Nashville, but I think he had
Alex Tedder said Kyle Busch sucks.
But at the Mid-Atlantic Classic last year, Bubba was stout. So
yeah, he almost won. Steve-O put the moves on him.
Yep,
got him beat. But
I think I'm gonna have to go with Bubba. But you can't count Steve Wallace. You can't. I think Brandon Setzer's my dark horse. I think Brandon's pretty solid.
He can't count as a dark horse.
What somebody who just like nobody's ever heard of?
Yeah, like it's got to be someone that hasn't won at least or has less than one win in their career in Cars Tour.
All right,
Brandon's won like 57.
That eliminates. What about Preston?
While he's
Preston
wins
but he hasn't won any Cars Tour races.
God,
he just won the Easter Bunny.
I'm talking dark horse.
Dude, all right, just give me a second. I've never.
While
heard
he's thinking about his dark horse,
go ahead and pick your winner.
My winner for the Super Late Model race is going to be Brandon Setzer.
Okay.
And then, do you have a winner?
Change mine. Yeah, well, mine
Mine
was Setzer. Now I'll go with Bubba Pollard too. That's my guy. So I'm gonna stick with it. He almost won last year. I feel like Bubba's gonna do it this year. It'll be a good pick. I'm pulling for Brandon, but I feel like Bubba's gonna be pretty stout.
Who are y'all's dark horses?
I'll go first on this one. My dark horse is going to be Tyler Ankrum. Got to know them guys pretty good last year. Clay Rogers is a crew chief, so is Blake Bainbridge. Got to know them guys really well, really cool. Tyler's really starting to run stout this year. So pulling for them guys, pulling for Clay. Hopefully Tyler can pull something out for him. That'll be my dark horse for the week.
Go ahead, Stephen.
I'm going to go with Jared Fryer.
Jared Fryer.
I think Jared
Fryer's running super now.
Yeah.
I think he's a pretty solid shoe. I think he's pretty good at Orange County. I've raced against him in late model stock there a couple times.
Yeah.
I think that's my dark horse.
That's you, Landon.
Mine's going to be old Steve Wallace. I think he's...
Can't count that as a
he
dark
won
horse.
last year.
That's not a dark horse.
He's won like one
That's your
car
pick to
store
win.
He won that race
That's your
last
pick
year.
to win.
No, he's not.
That's not your dark horse.
Dude,
Who's your pick?
He can't be a dark horse. I vote him out.
he crashes like every week.
No.
Yeah.
He beats somebody up every week.
He won this race last year. He can't be your dark horse.
Nobody will ever forget that Victory Lane interview.
Gosh, shut down, man. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I forgot he won this race.
Tony Stevens.
Yeah.
Throwing up. Oh, I didn't throw up.
I didn't throw up. Shut up. Look, I like that. Dylan Wilson racing greater than Landon Huffman.
Does Tedder even know, like...
shit the whole night.
I feel like Tedder is...
Brandon Setzer for the win. Corey Latham, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to pull for Brandon, but I had to pick someone different.
What about late model stock?
We'll go ahead and move on while Landon's picking his dark horse.
I didn't mean to brush you.
No.
Sorry.
We need to. Late model stock entry list. We don't need that.
I've got it.
I'll read this one off. You keep picking.
We already read the late model stock entry
Well, I
off.
don't think he has that good of a memory.
Oh yeah, we did. Sorry, I just haven't looked. God, another good field. This is always tough because.
How about Deke McCaskill and Josh Berry's car?
That's my pick to win.
You think?
Yeah, Deke's my
Deke
pick to
McCaskill's
win.
racing in Josh Berry's car.
Yeah, because Barry's... Yeah.
Well, god dang, that's an easy pick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna do something different. If y'all are both gonna pick Deke,
Well, I didn't say that was my pick. I just said how about it.
I mean that's crazy. I didn't know. That's news to me for sure.
Scott Riggs is pretty unbeatable at Orange County. I think I'm gonna go with Scott Riggs. No, can I be my dark horse?
Yeah, that's who.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna pick.
that's a dark horse.
That's a good dark horse.
He was track champion at Orange County, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna pick him, I think, man, my winner. I'm gonna try to do something different here. My winner this week, man, I'm just gonna have to go with Lee. I mean, I don't think Lee's ever raced there very often. I picked him last time they raced, and he won. So I'm gonna pick Lee Pulliam again. And my dark horse. Now, since y'all are gonna take my dark horse original pick, I'm gonna go with Carson Quaffle. He put on a show this past weekend, I was told. So Carson Quaffle, son of Travis. I think that's a cool deal. You know, I haven't always, but I've seen him come up, and he ran good this past weekend, and he lost some lead. God rest the lead soul. I know very well about that, but in the meantime, you know, he ran good, and who knows how light he was, but I'm gonna go with that. Bobby McCarty's also a really good pick, Corey. That's a really good point.
I say if you're gonna pick Deke and you're gonna pick
Lee.
I'm gonna pick Bobby McCarty. He was pretty stout at Tri-County.
Hell yeah! I hope Steve-O and Matt Craig are running 1-2 at the end.
That's like
you talked about some damn
that's
fireworks.
a death wish, is what that is.
Yeah.
And then my win is going to be Deke, and then my dark horse is going to be Craig Moore.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
He, I think he races
there last year. That's his home track.
Yeah,
right?
he races locally at Orange County.
Yeah.
So.
Craig, he raced there full time in 2015, I believe, and got cancer the next year. It took a year off from racing.
Really?
And then came back. Yeah.
I thought Ronald Hill was. Is that not his track too? Ronald Hill, is that his full-time
Maybe,
track?
but Ronald.
Maybe he used to be, but he's running cars.
Ronald almost. No, I know,
He
but
almost
Ronald
won at
almost
the
won
beach.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He about put her in victory lane. So
Yeah. So he, Tommy Taylor said, I heard they were putting the 88 on Deke's car, not driving the JRM car.
Deke's still my pick.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. And then my dark horse.
That adds at least 3.
Y'all might criticize me for this too, but I feel like Stephen Nassy is still a dark horse.
Well, in 2016, him and Dalton Sargent had a battle for the win. And that it wasn't the Mid-Atlantic
Stephen
Classic,
Nassy is a dark horse. He's my dark horse pick. If you argue that, I don't care.
No, I'm not saying it's dark. I'm just saying it's a good pick because he ran good there in 2016.
This is why Stefan's a guest. He won't be back next week. No,
I mean, Stephen, he hasn't won a lot. I mean, he has in his career.
He's had a lot of controversy around
He's
him,
not
but he
very
hasn't
hot
won
this
that much.
year, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't pick him to win, but I agree that's a dark horse. Mine is Carson Quaffle. Landon's, your winner in late models was who?
Deke.
Deke, and who is Ronald? Who did you say, Ronald Hill?
No, Craig Moore. Yeah.
What about you? What was your late model picture again?
Bobby McCarty.
Bobby McCarty and dark horse.
Scott Riggs.
Okay, so
Well,
we have a lot of. That's a lot of. I feel like one of us is going to get some points there.
yeah.
Has to.
For the Denny Hamlin race, I feel like
I haven't seen an entry list yet.
we won't
but
make picks on it, but I mean, obviously the main contenders are going to be Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, C. Falk, your guys that race there, Mark Wirtz. Trying to think, Brendan Queen
Phillip
races
Morris.
there.
Yeah,
Phillip
we
Morris.
can't pick a dark horse for this, but we'll pick a winner.
I mean, I'm just going to say Kyle Busch just because I feel
I
like
think Steve.
he's in Nelson's stuff.
That's the car Kyle Busch is in is the.
Is the Nelson cars? Kyle Busch is in a Nelson car.
It's the KBM car that he ran
Goodness.
at the short track showdown when it was at Richmond in 13. It's the same. It's a KBM built car.
So what about I was about to say Phillip. I'm assuming is running, so I'm gonna go with Phillip. Yeah. I seen Travis Bird today actually sent me this Snapchat of this rivet gun. Did you see that?
No.
Goodness, it is a electric rivet gun.
Electric?
Yeah, and it shoots out the the nail afterwards. It's really cool. It says like $280 though.
Jesus.
So he just used it from somebody
Out of our
else.
price range.
Yeah.
If Philip can get a
Just gonna use the old M.
if Philip can get a new tire like he did last time he ran at Langley, he'd be pretty unbeatable.
Yeah. Yeah, Phillip. I'm gonna go with Phillip. You know, he's already got a win there this year, so Phillip would be a cool guy to win. But is that race going to be broadcasted anywhere?
I would imagine it's somewhere on.
Probably on Race Fans TV.
Yeah, Fans Choice TV.
Yeah.
Probably.
Fans' choice.
I don't know. I know the ARCA race is live on MAV TV.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good one
burn
to watch.
tires up. No way. Yeah, I don't
That's what I'm
know,
saying.
man.
If
I
he
don't
gets
know the
another
entry
tire,
list,
he'll
so
be good.
Probably will. Denny Hamlin's in a Nelson car also.
Yeah.
Nobody picked Denny. I'm gonna change my pick. I didn't realize that. I guess Denny is racing. It is the Denny Hamlin Short Track Showdown.
It'll be fun to see how they do, not being in a late model, consistently.
I don't know why them guys don't call people like us and rent our cars.
There's a reason for that.
They have better things to do with their time.
Well, because they can rent Nelson's stuff.
TV deal fell through for live coverage on MAV TV. I'll be damn. See, that's what's.
I heard it was all live, so that's news to me.
I think he's talking about the Denny Hamlin race.
He is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was talking about.
No, not ARCA.
Yeah, ARCA's live on MAV TV.
There's a contract on that.
I would.
Live.
No, I guess I shouldn't really say it, but I would much rather. Y'all don't have to weigh in because y'all probably can't, but I would much rather watch a freaking late model stock race at Langley than watch a damn ARCA race. Just saying. But anyway, especially live on TV. Golly, we've covered a lot tonight. How about that?
Whole lot.
I
Yep.
feel like we had a little bit of issues at the start with sound somehow. I don't know, but But yeah, Fans' Choice will cover Denny race. So hopefully that's the truth. We can, because I want to watch that. That'll be a lot of good stuff. I always watch the Car Store races on carstore.tv.
I'll definitely be tuning in.
Yeah, wish we could get there. That'd be really cool.
Maybe next year.
Didn't you have original plans to try to run that?
I wanted to, but
Yeah.
somebody else was going to rent that car for the weekend. So,
Oh no.
and I'm not going to pay that much for it. So
Yeah, well, that's kind of part of it. I guess that's the life we're living. So I guess we're gonna keep continuing to talk about stuff, but it's also time for the Q&A area. So if anybody has any questions,
it's the over/under how many questions there are about my hair.
Yeah, so we will end the audio version.
Yeah.
The audio version was a little bit longer today. We've interacted with you guys a little bit more than we normally do during the actual audio portion. So if you're listening on the audio and you've made it this far, thank you for tuning in. And we'll run through thank our sponsors real quick. As always, Fox Outdoor, Carolina Simworks, Heavenly Sweets, Blondie's Restaurant, One Designs Wraps, PRW Racing Chassis, and if you enjoyed the show, make sure you share it on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're listening on the audio version, then by all means help us out and share the audio link so we can get more short track people listening to what we're doing.
that's what it's all about, man.
So thank you guys for listening, and see you next week.
Mm-hmm. So we're not done with the Facebook people yet. Or YouTube. Sorry, I always forget about YouTube. I haven't really paid much attention. I guess I should look here. Yeah, no. Uh-oh. I guess I should restart that. But anyway. Yeah, so any questions? Not necessarily for us, but maybe just our take on it. If y'all enjoy other people talking about stuff that y'all normally wouldn't post, like us idiots do, send it over. We'll talk about it and talk about all that. Are you getting tired?
Yeah, and I got to get up at 5, so.
You always say that. Why?
I work Wednesday
You
mornings.
got a bad job, obviously.
Yeah.
Lifeguard.
Just how it works. I ain't a lifeguard. I work on the fitness floor now.
I still like calling you a lifeguard.
Now he got promoted.
Yeah.
I just chose
He's
to
a lifeguard
switch.
and got promoted.
Lifeguarding's terrible at 5 in the morning.
Anyway, how about this? Who do y'all think wins the Denny Hamlin race? And how much would you pay to rent it? Or well, how about this? Would you rather watch? Actually, somebody already answered this, but would you guys rather watch the Denny Hamlin Short Track Showdown or the ARCA race?
If you had to pick.
If you had to pick, and this is just coming from me. I'm just asking personally. I'd just like to know, what do you guys honestly think? Would you rather watch ARCA, rather watch the Denny Hamlin Showdown, or even Cars Tour? All that. I got another question here. Hey, you mentioned the 95 Nashville race. I watched that a few months ago. Thought DW could have won. I watched the 97 Busch race at Hickory. I recommended It Won't Spoil. It was one of the best I saw in the series for 97. Yes, true. I watched that race literally the night before Friday night. So I always try to watch old races like that before I go do some racing. So just you a little excited and pumped up. Everybody's already saying the late model race. About you, Stefan, what's going on other than ARCA racing and school? Any particular hobbies you've picked up lately?
Hobbies? Golf, honestly.
I like it.
Let me tell you what, this guy could not hit a golf ball with a freaking baseball bat when he first came on the scene with us, and we played bottom golf here.
That was the night that y'all finished 1-2, and
yeah.
Yep.
Stefan, let me tell you what, Stefan looked like a baby giraffe fresh out the womb trying to swing a golf club. And he was real mad because my girlfriend could swing and hit the ball much better than he could.
Absolutely.
So therefore, Stefan went to the drawing board, and I believe he got professional lessons.
Been working on it.
I have not got professional lessons.
Yeah, Phil Parsons took him to school.
Dude, he does not know. He does not teach me anything.
Oh,
he doesn't teach me anything. He is the worst teacher I've ever met in my life.
Well, I play a little bit of golf.
We need to go golfing again. We golfed at Brushy Mountain about a month ago. That was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Good time spanking that ass.
I struggled.
You did. You shot a 197.
I was bad. That was the first time I'd played in about 5 months. The last time I'd played then was when I played with Dylan.
Yeah.
You were not
But-
good.
I haven't played much lately. I used to play all the damn time.
You want to play Pinehurst?
Yeah.
Was that last year?
Yeah, I played Pinehurst number 2. A little over a year ago, and then I played number 3, 5, and 7. So I played a lot. You know, throughout my life, I've played a lot of golf, and usually when I'm not racing, I have to play golf because it's eerily similar. Like it's like opposite, but it's similar because racers love golf. I feel like because it's so hard and it's so competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And if golf wasn't so hard,
Everybody do it.
Yeah, and not only that, but it just makes it for racers. It's perfect. And I'm not saying every racer loves it, but it definitely fits the mold. And it's like the complete opposite, so it fits in great. Like if you race on Saturday, it's loud, people every damn where.
Yeah.
Constant. The only thing that's the same is the constant pressure. Of all the time, there's always something that you're racing against or playing against. You can't ever let your guard down. You know what I mean? It's always something. So that's what's cool about golf and racing. And a lot of people think golf's boring. I understand it can suck on TV, but it's really a fun sport. If you've never got into it and you suck real bad at it, just keep digging. Because this guy went from baby giraffe to at least being able to beat Landon. So
I know how to break my wrist now. That's the most important part.
yeah, breaking the
say,
wrist.
I think golf is an important skill to have as a race car driver.
Oh yeah.
As well, if you especially this day and age with when sponsorships is so key and important, taking not necessarily a CEO, but taking somebody, a representative from a company, playing 18 holes with them. I mean,
exactly. Yeah,
that's big. You know what I mean?
Not only that, but man, it's really good pressure management. Like just in those situations, like I've been way more nervous golfing than I've ever been racing. Because racing, you don't really think about it. Golfing, like it's 100% trying to control your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Like every bit of it.
Somebody was telling me that they did they put a brain scan or something on golfer before they went up to a tee box. It was nothing. I mean, empty.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I mean that's how we are with race cars too. You're not.
You don't think in racing, but I feel like it's like what you're made for. You know what I mean? Like if you're a good, natural, made for it golfer, then you don't think about it. You go up there and hit it. Me, I'm like
muscle memory.
Oh God, got to remember to keep my, all sorts of swing thoughts. But here's a couple questions. The simulator setup is cool. Enjoyed the segment. Would there be other tracks where you would cover or show? Yeah, one track that I'm really looking forward to doing is Rockford Speedway. I think you actually said you're from that area, but. My friend and motor, I guess you would call him maintenance guy / head mechanic, good buddy Larry Mosier, who was a racer from Rockford, Illinois, and a good friend of all of ours, actually. He's been racing street stocks at Hickory, and now he's finally retired, and I've got to keep him for myself and help me out. I think he actually might be watching right now, so anyway. I want to run, and he's told me so many stories about that track. I wanted to actually see what it's like for myself. But what about you, Landon? Where would you like to run on Hot Laps next week?
Hot Laps is going to enter into some familiar territory here in the next couple of shows. We've got a Goodies Dash Series mod that we've been playing with a little bit. We might have to take a few laps around good old Florence Motor Speedway. No walls.
I've been there before. No, there's one wall.
Or one wall. There's
one
front
wall.
Stretch wall. Yeah.
So Dad won theirs.
So might have to go to Florence. We might have to take a little bit of Goodies Dash racing to Lanier. Trying to think of some other Lakeland, Florida. We could go there. Dash.
They tore it down, right?
Mm-hmm. Dash race a lot there. So I'm really excited to do some Goodies Dash
racing. I always heard in Lakeland, Florida, there's some hellacious bars.
It was a little before our time.
I wish we were old enough to really get the full Dash experience, and really, because we were fans and kids at the time, but just imagine being our age now and being able to hang out and race in the Dash Series, and imagine there being a Dash Series now, and obviously the car counts wouldn't be the same, and I know that, and I know there's so many more technical terms, but imagine us being in 1998 racing in the Dash Series, and that's so cool to me.
Yeah.
How
Oh my gosh.
How televised everything was.
Clear.
What is happening?
I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure what just happened. Something's going crazy.
What did you click on?
Dude, I didn't click on anything. I've been sitting here talking to y'all.
Did you forget to clear your internet history?
No, it was like That was the video. I don't know. Sorry. It was the damn Russians. The Russians just blew our headsets up. But anyway, sorry.
Back to it. I'd love to be. I wish I could have experienced the Goodies Dash Series in its prime. You know, I was a kid then, so I remember some bits and pieces from when Dad was racing, but you know, that was one of the true short track touring divisions that NASCAR had, and it was in its healthiest time. It put on some really great racing. It developed a lot of great drivers. It had a good mix of young guns that were coming through the sport and learning how to race around people. And it also had, you know, a mix of your veterans that ran in the Dash Series, like my dad and like your dad, that made a living in the Dash Series. And I think that in this day and age, you don't have enough of, you know, those veterans that are able to race in one series, even at a lower level, and make a living. But not only that, just experiencing a weekly racing series that traveled to places like Hickory and South Boston and
Daytona.
And then getting to go to Daytona. So yeah, Mickey York. I'm trying to think of who else. Jake Hobgood, Cam Strader, Mike Swain Jr. There's so many names. Jake and Justin Hobgood, Dutt, and then you had Jake, Justin, and Will. Their dad, Will, raced also.
Will was Will was the guy. But I mean, but if you want to get back to the older terms, you got Larry Cottle and Ian Combs and all those guys
My dad ran the Dash Series back before it was called the Dash Series, when it was the Baby Grand Series.
Yeah, Angie Wilson, Scott
Weaver.
It
was so many different. It was the International Sedan Series, the Baby Grand Series, the Dash Series. It was called several different things when my Scott Weaver, can't forget him. So lots of names that were. It's weird because they kind of like their height of their career was in the Dash Series, and Dash Series was a big deal. Like it was like, as I know, I know Chris Marshall here. I know you said you're from Rockford, so I doubt the Dash Series was very popular in those demographics. But it was like the Hooters Pro Cup or the ARCA Series for us now. When the ARCA Series was popping.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, back then you had the Goodies Dash Series, Pro Cup, ASA. I mean, you had those weekly regional touring series who traveled track to track and were still at a short track level, though. Now you don't really have many of those.
Yeah. Yeah, as well as like you said, the All-Pro Series. I mean, that was
George Crenshaw.
Yeah, that was
Campbell's Soup.
I mean, you can't even begin to name all the All-Pro guys. I mean, you got tons and tons of legends that's raced in about every level of the series or of racing.
Brandon Ward,
Zach Brewer, Brandon Ward. I mean, you got God dang.
Brandon Ward's a driver that never really got the break that he needed. He got to drive Hooters Pro Cup for my dad in 2007, 2008 with Randy Humphrey Racing, and they won a race and won Rookie of the Year. And Brandon was a really talented race car driver, and I just felt like he never got that next step to help him get to the higher levels, whether it be truck, Xfinity, or what have you.
He's still racing modifieds.
Yeah,
right?
he actually won a UARA championship in like 2005, and so he's won a lot of stuff. He's won a lot of modified races. Christian Elder was a guy who drove the Great Clips 21 car, I believe, in the Dash Series. He passed away. I don't know when. He drove a Great Clips car in Xfinity for a while, or which was Busch Grand National at that time, and so he's been around the block. So there's so many names, and we could go on and on and on and talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, that series would be great to have back, but until then, we're gonna do some simulator rides and the hot laps segment of the Windshield Deep podcast. So we'll keep you entertained for the time being.
I think I need to about wrap it up so I can go home and
it's
sleep.
getting that time. I'm actually we'll be here same time next Tuesday at 8:30. But the week after we're gonna have to do some planning because I'm gonna be out of town for a week. So we're gonna have to either do a early episode or whatever, or do a live feed from Destin, Florida episode or something like that. But anyway, well, Stephen, did you have fun?
I had a great time.
Did you feel like you learned a lot?
No, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're not the only one. Like I said, stick with us. We keep trying to upgrade stuff. We're learning we learn every week. We're really happy to have. It's one of our better episodes. They had a lot of interactions and viewers throughout the show. So that's cool, and I think we're going to continue to grow. I'm not saying we're the next MRN or nothing, but we're definitely having fun with it. So
yeah, share it and please.
Brandon said it's related to the party. We've been talking about picking you to win the race and every damn thing, and here you are just now showing up.
Rolling in.
God.
Whatever's convenient to you. That's
yeah,
fine.
whatever,
man. Feels best for you to just come in and
watch
him crap show.
You're my pick to win the race.
Him and Dennis have been tuning on the unit, getting ready for this weekend. I'm telling you.
They don't give a damn about no podcast.
Yeah,
they're out there making stuff go fast. So anyway, it's been really fun. But it ain't been that fun. I don't know. It ain't really been all that fun.
It's been real. It's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Dylan always screws it up. Yeah.
You were alluding to
No,
it.
I always screwed up on purpose. But anyway, we had fun today. And we got to thank Fox Outdoor, Carolina Simworks, Heavenly Sweets, Blondie's Restaurant, One Designs Wraps, PRW Chassis, and all of you guys that have been here with us today. Someone just asked me what year to run in a late model stock at Hickory.
What motor? About a 560.
Yeah, I mean, it just totally depends on motor. But if you're in a crate motor, 604 crate, probably somewhere in between the 50s, 60s. I mean, it just depends.
560, 570, just,
Yeah, I mean, it totally depends.
6,900 chip in it.
Depends on how far you want to just absolutely send it in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got a good
Drew
amount
Cox, come whenever you want. Same deal.
Yeah, good God. Show up late to the party.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make this video on demand private so you guys can't watch it. Just kidding. Anyway, we'll be back next week, Tuesday, 8:30. Hopefully Stefan won't be here. Just kidding. We had a really good time with Stefan. He might be a Riddler. We might have to bring you on every now and then.
Hey, man, if I can, as long as I get to run the simulator with the open
simulator's
face and the
the
ski
main
mask, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
We might have a Parsons family tradition ride along one week.
Said built motor gear. Well,
555.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously turning more, so probably.
Can't be giving away our secrets.
I've never run a built motor,
The
so I'm
only
just taking a
secrets
guess.
we have is that
There are no secrets.
Yeah, I mean, we have a small. Yeah, Dylan Hauser, 588. Yeah, go with
There
that.
she is. Yeah,
That'll get you. That'll
That's
get
way
you
off
revved
what I
up.
was talking about.
So anyway, I'm gonna try to end it this time. You guys can keep interacting if you want to, but we're getting off here. We're gonna go. We're gonna go wind down, have us something to eat, and
I'm going
chill
to sleep.
out. Landon's going to sleep. Thanks again to all of our sponsors, all of you guys. We'll be back on here next week, 8:30 Tuesday, same time, Eastern Standard Time. This will be available on the on-demand version on Facebook and YouTube, as well as the audio version will be on SoundCloud. So be sure to check all that out. It's been real. It's been fun. It ain't been real fun. Live every day like it's Saturday. This is the voice of grassroots racing.